So
it's almost
Thanksgiving,
Thanksgiving.
yeah, so Thanksgiving right around the corner. It's
I
crazy.
know.
It's crazy
It
that
is,
we're,
like
and we'll get to the topic in a second, but it's crazy that we're already coming up on the holidays.
I mean, I was last night, I was talking to my husband, and I said, "Wow," and he was like, "What?" And I said, "I've only got, like, a month to buy all these Christmas presents," and started getting stressed about it,
Yeah. And
and
a
it
lot of
just
money that
snuck up
comes with
on
it. It
me
takes a
like
lot of
it does
time.
every year.
Yep. I don't know. I like just feel like we were like just celebrating the new year. Like it was, I feel like it was like just January, February. And now we're sitting here and we're like, I mean, it's November 19th today, which means like the end of the month is right around the corner. And then it's Christmas and holidays. And walking around my neighborhood, I'm starting to see people put up Christmas lights. And I'm just like,
Oh, yeah.
where's time gone?
I know it. I mean, that's
Yeah.
kind of feeds into what we're gonna talk
Yeah.
about.
And I feel like maybe for me, it's partly because Emily and I are expecting a baby here in about 2 weeks.
Oh,
Uh,
wow, yeah, your world about to
which maybe some
be
listeners know,
upside
some don't. But
down.
yeah, I mean, I just feel like I'm looking at the calendar and like, all right, the first 2 weeks of December are gone for me. And then it's like just trying to catch some air. And then it's the holidays, which thankfully we're just going to stay in town this year, which will be nice. But then it's the holidays and then it's January 1st again and it just starts all back over. So, and then us just trying to figure out what a routine looks like with the little one,
Oh,
which
yeah, yeah, that's gonna
is
take a little while.
going to take us a little while, I think. So, but we're excited, obviously. Opening up there with the holidays, which kind of brings us into today's topic. And Jeri Anne mentioned she's already thinking about how much she's going to have to be spending um, on all these gifts, but it's just really around spending around the holidays and maybe for some people, the anxiety that comes with that. You know, there's going to be a lot of outflows, the planning that comes with that, or just probably some people kind of saying like, what is all this for? It's like you buy all these gifts and then kids forget. That's one of the things I saw on social media recently. It was kind of cool in a way. It was parents asking their kids what it was like asking them, what did you get for your birthday this last year? What did you get for Christmas last year? You know,
They couldn't
specifically
remember?
talking about this, and they couldn't remember. But then the next question was, where did we take our summer trip, or where did we go for spring break? And all the kids remembered. And so
Oh,
it just goes to show like
absolutely.
the importance of experiences and maybe not so much the gifts because
Yeah.
kids remember those. Like they literally couldn't. There was a girl she couldn't remember a single gift she got for her birthday,
Wow.
and she was like guessing. And but she like knew. I feel like in the video she was like, "Oh, we went to Lake Tahoe for spring break or whatever," she said. And so it
Yeah.
was like
I mean,
stuck with
my
her so
kids
vividly.
love the trips too,
Yeah.
but they Christmas and getting their gifts. I've even tried the old, "Hey, let's do a trip this year instead," and they were like, "Well, can we still get gifts?" I was like, "Well, that kinda defeats the purpose there," but what I say every single year, because I try to give myself some grace and to not totally freak out, and every single year I tell them, "Hey, we're not gonna have as big of a Christmas this year as we did last year," and every year we do. So somewhere I have to like at some point I have to actually do that. So this year, this is the year that I am going to not spend as much as I usually do on them, and they're going to have to start getting used to it.
We're gonna hold you to it as an office.
Okay, I'm going to.
Sorry, kids.
Yeah,
That's
but
funny.
it's also like if I'm having to like my kids don't need anything. And I think a lot of people are in the same boat. It's like we're just coming up with stuff to buy for the sake of them having a gift to open, you know?
Yeah, it does, especially as kids get older. I think that, and I think that's where maybe like we kind of said, like the trips can maybe become a little bit more meaningful. We've done that with both my family in the past and Emily's family in the past, where we've taken a trip. Um, which I mean, I could like tell you exactly the places we've been, kind of going back to that
Yeah,
video,
right.
but
Yeah.
couldn't tell you like one thing somebody's bought me probably in the last five
I mean, you
years.
probably couldn't you probably don't know what her parents got you for Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, I can think of a few things, but it's like the trip is way more meaningful to me.
Yeah, for
It's like
sure.
just good to spend time with everybody and get away, and it's usually kind of
I mean, I
cold around
think
here, so you go to somewhere warmer.
yeah. I mean, I think if people do freak out about how much they're spending during the holidays or Christmas or whatever, it kinda takes the joy out of it a little bit, but some things I mean, there are some things you can do to, like, help not be so stressed and overwhelmed, and I guess the first thing was, like, do a realistic holiday budget, like, be realistic, don't, you know, put really expensive things on I mean, just how much do you have to spend, and then who do you need to buy for? Kinda go start that way first.
Which I think probably is easier for older kids. I mean, I think they get it a little bit. I think with younger kids and they don't get exactly what they want, it can be a little bit harder. But I think, yeah, if you can kind of in your mind set a budget of, hey, we're gonna only stick to this much, and maybe that means there's like a bigger gift somebody wants, and that's what they get, or there's a bunch of smaller things they want, and you're able to do that. But I think setting the budget of like, this is what we have to spend this year. This is what we're gonna stick to. I know it can be hard because you want to get kids everything, but just trying to stick to that and really laying the groundwork because not only will it help this year, it'll probably help in future years also.
Mhm. Well, and my daughter got married last year, so now I have a son-in-law on the list as well, so my list is getting bigger, not smaller.
Yep. And I think that's where then, like I said, setting the budget, but then maybe also kind of prioritizing the more meaningful or bigger gifts they want.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
Whether it's like something that they need for the house, not they're getting older, or like something that's a little more practical for them. Maybe they don't, maybe kids won't view that as a gift, but I do think, prioritize those bigger things that will have a little bit more meaning than some toy they're probably going to put away 6 months from now and never touch again.
I guess some other, things you can do, like if you're traveling during the holidays, book your travel as early as possible. Obviously, you don't wanna be trying to travel at Thanksgiving or Christmas, like, thinking that a week or 2 before that's gonna either be booked or be very expensive.
Yep. Yeah, that
Um,
just comes back to planning, I think. All
yeah,
like
back to the
spending
whole
for those bigger
planning of
ones.
what you're gonna
Yep.
spend your money on, right, right.
And then I think, a lot of times with the holidays, I feel like it's like birthdays. There's like a lot of gifts that can be given. And there's also some people are, okay, I'm just going to give you cash, which in the long run goes a little bit further, whether it's money into like a college fund or a savings account or something like that to where,
Or just cash to do something with. I do think they like that. I mean, they may say, "Oh, I wanted this whatever jacket or whatever," but and then when you're handing them, money, they're like, "Okay, I can do something with this."
yeah, do something with it. Go maybe create like an experience of their own or just go buy what they maybe would have wanted on their own. Sometimes it's hard. You don't know exactly what they want, I feel like.
And then also, like, spending at Christmas can be stressful for people because even if they do budget and they have an amount that they think they can spend, like, it really depends on where you are at that time financially. It's like so maybe you put it on a credit card or whatever, but a lot of people do that, and then you need to make sure you pay that off the next month, but that's where I think people get into trouble a little bit at Christmas time is because they think, "Well, I'm just gonna put all this on the credit card, then I'll pay it off next month," and then something happens, and then they don't have that, and now they're paying interest, and so I think that's a big piece of it too. Um
Yeah, that along with what we've maybe seen successful people with that do is like the same way some people have like a vacation fund, they may have like a doesn't necessarily just need to be Christmas, but it's like a gift fund to where that's where they're saving away money specifically for holidays or for birthdays, whatever it may be. But where they're like, okay, this is one, it helps you stick to a budget because there's only so much money in there to be able to spend. But also it helps you plan for it throughout the year to where now it is Christmas time and versus saying to your point, Jerry, and versus saying, all right, I'm just gonna put all these gifts on a credit card, I'll pay it off next month. You kind of like have saved your allotment of what you're gonna spend throughout the year. So it's less of a burden on you. And also if there is some sort of emergency expense that pops up that you weren't planning for, it's not like you're double spending in that month because you had a good plan. You budgeted and you planned for everything ahead of time.
Another expensive thing at the holidays, and I feel like they're never ending, but another really expensive thing is food. Like, if you're cooking for family, friends, whatever, big meals, I mean, that can really add up. So, I mean, you can always do like potluck type, everybody brings something, or, I mean, with family members, just say like, "Hey, can you pitch in?" Or, there's all kinds of different ways to cover it where it's not like you don't have to have the big dinner or something.
Yeah, I haven't seen one yet this year. I feel like from a couple of different resources I follow, though, I usually get like the average holiday meal dinner this year for a family of however many costs X amount of dollars, and just with food costing over the last several years, it's like significantly. I mean, it's like doubled over the last couple of years of what it costs. I mean,
Yeah, we're going to my niece's house for Thanksgiving, and I was talking to my brother, and I was like, "Do I need to, like, Venmo her some money? She's gonna have Thanksgiving for, like, 12 people." She's, like, 27, so I told her I would bring the champagne. She's like, "Okay, that's good." Yeah.
I think those really are the big ones. I think holidays can be stressful for a lot of reasons. I mean, maybe it's family or dynamics around that. A lot of times, I think stress comes from around money and finances. So I think the more proactive you can plan for that and have a plan in place so that as you're buying these gifts or buying the food for the holidays, you're not stressed out thinking, oh, I'm about to put all this on a credit card and then I got to
Mhm.
pay that off. It's like you're prepared for it so
Yeah,
that,
and you can
like,
enjoy things more that way.
yeah. Yeah. Cause I think with the stress, it kind of makes things unenjoyable. And then you're just
Yeah.
fighting to get through the holidays. And then it's like, you don't even get to enjoy them. And it's like, this can be an awesome time of year when it's enjoyable, and that time with family is stuff you don't really get is time you don't really get back. Um, and so yeah, I think preparing, planning not only helps from the financial aspect, I think it helps just from the stress and alleviating a lot of that also.
Yeah, totally
Um,
agree.
what else around the holidays?
Um, I don't know, I think just, plan your budget, prioritize, like, meaningful gifts, um and, like, I think the best advice that we've said today is maybe even have like, a gift account that you donate to throughout the year. Maybe you get a bonus at some time during the year, put a little extra money in it, something like that. I feel like if people have the money sitting there for gifts at Christmas, then they're gonna enjoy it so much more than if they're worried about, "How am I gonna pay for this?" You know?
Yep. Yeah, and I would agree with that. And I think if you're somebody maybe listening who um, finds this time of year stressful, whether it be because of finances or whatever, use this as a year to make a change and set a budget, plan for it. I mean, I know we're kind of in the middle of it, so maybe that's tough, but try and plan for it as much as you can this year and maybe just lay even a little bit of groundwork. Maybe it's one or two different changes to what you've historically done so that when it's a year from now, which will be what feels like in the blink of an eye, it's now 2026 and we're talking about the holidays again. You've at least started a process that hopefully makes things a little bit more stressful for you, even if it's just in a small way this year, something you can build upon in years to come.
Yep,
So
good.
awesome. Well, thanks for joining us on this episode of the Retire While You Work podcast. I'm Myles Zuger, advisor here on the team, joined by Jeri Anne, AG, director of operations. And as we go into this holiday season, hopefully it's as stress free for as many of you as it can be, but hopefully it's also enjoyable and you get to spend it with your family.
Thanks.
Are those of myself and not necessarily those of Raymond James. Expressions of opinion are as of this date and are subject to change without notice. The information contained in these podcasts do not purport to be a complete description of the securities market or developments referred to in this material. The information has been obtained from sources considered to be reliable, but we do not guarantee that the foregoing material is accurate or complete. Every investor situation is unique, and you should consider your investment goals, risk tolerance, and time horizon before making any investment. Prior to making an investment decision, please consult with your financial advisor about your individual situation. Any hypothetical examples are for illustration purposes only. Actual investor results will vary. Raymond James does not provide legal or tax services. Please discuss these matters with the appropriate professional.